After a devastating event called the Ruin, the community's memories are erased, and a new society centered around rules and avoiding conflict is created by a group called the Elders. A day before graduation, when people are assigned their jobs, Jonas is feeling lost and anxious as he doesn't know his purpose in life and feels as though he sees things differently than the rest of the residents. Is Jonah destined to play a pivotal role in the future of his community? Watch to find out and subscribe for more. Jonas, along with his best friend Asher and Fiona, volunteer at the Nurturing Center as part of their training. Jonas and Fiona weigh twin babies, and Fiona tells Father that the baby she is holding is the heavier one and that the other one doesn't qualify to be assigned to a family. Jonas caresses the baby's hand, but it only stops crying when Fiona caresses his head, leaving Asher amazed at how nurturing seems so natural for other people. Although it's against the rules to look at the baby's name, Father calls the baby Gabriel, thinking it will help him grow. While everything is in black and white, Jonas starts seeing Fiona's hair in color. As they dine together at home, Director of Justice, Mother, tells Father, Jonas, and his little sister, Lily, that the Elders decided to release Lily's teacher to elsewhere. When Jonas shares how anxious he is for his graduation, they assure him that the Elders are never wrong about their decision to assign jobs. The ceremony, composed of different age groups, begins, and Chief Elder appears through a hologram where Jonas notices the giver looking at him. At the ceremony of release to elsewhere, which marks their retirement, elderly citizens are honored for their work. At the naming and placement, infants who are engineered by geneticists and produced by birth mothers are given to their assigned family unit. At the ceremony of the Nines, Lily and children her age are given bikes, a symbol of their developing independence and responsibility. At the ceremony of the Grown, Jonas and his peers are called individually and assigned to their positions in the community. After Chief Elder assigns Asher to be a drone pilot, she skips Jonas and calls the lady after him. Fiona is assigned as a nurturer, and as more of his peers are called, Jonas grows increasingly anxious. Finally, Chief Elder calls Jonas and announces their decision was not made hastily. She continues by claiming that because Jonas possesses all four attributes, intelligence, integrity, courage, and the capacity to see beyond, he has been selected as the next receiver of memory. She then warns him that his training will not be easy as it involves pain beyond anything they know. After the ceremony, Jonas asks Father what Chief Elder meant when she said, "We cannot afford another failure." But Mother stops Father from answering, saying they do not speak of it. As Jonas begins training, he becomes exempted from a few rules, such as lying and being rude, but is forbidden to discuss his training or any memories that he receives. Jonas heads to the residence of his predecessor, the Giver, by the edge of the community which is located on a cliff. The Giver is the keeper of all the memories of the past and is responsible for transmitting them to Jonas. Upon receiving his first memory, Jonas experiences sledding down a hill. He then arrives at a house with a wreath on the door and people inside are singing. When Jonas asks the Giver why their society doesn't have sleds or snow, the Giver tells him that there's no snow because of climate control. He adds that a memory of a sled can be dangerous because it can create an undesirable domino effect into other topics. Later that night, a lady brings Gabriel to Father's house. Jonas discovers that Gabriel has a mark similar to his and realizes that he will also be selected in the future. Then Jonas receives another memory, sailing during the sunset. After seeing the memory in vivid colors, he starts seeing reality in color. Sharing his progress in his training, Asher tells Jonas and Fiona that he saw two huge rocks leaning against each other, forming a triangle, but he doesn't know what's on the other side because he's forbidden to fly past them. Attempting to share what he has learned in his training, Jonas encourages Fiona and Asher to sit on a tray and slide down the solar panel. Asher decides not to, as it's against the rules, while Jonas and Fiona experience something similar to sledding on a hill. When Jonas holds Fiona's hand, they are reminded that it's impolite to touch citizens outside of their family unit. Chief Elder summons the Giver because Jonas has been observed, attempting to share what he learned from his training. The Giver assures her that sharing what he learned is impossible as he has tried it himself when he was in training. The Giver gives Jonas books to read, and Jonas finds the plan for a sameness map. On the map, he sees the triangle of rocks and tells the Giver that it's real because his pilot friend Asher saw it. Inquisitive, Jonas asks about the towers beyond the triangle of rocks and the boundary of memory, but the Giver tells him that it's a mystery. Assuming that the boundary is meant to keep memories in, he asks the Giver what happens if the receiver of memory crosses it, to which the Giver replies that it could allow everyone to access memory. After the Giver places the map in a drawer with sketches of a girl, he plays the piano, introducing Jonas to music. The Giver reveals to Jonas that contrary to what they've been told, the daily injections that they receive don't ensure good health, but instead rid them of emotions. He then gives Jonas the memory of a joyous wedding celebration, with music and dancing. At home, Father and Mother see Jonas dancing with Lily, similar to the memory he just received, and a concerned mother asks what's going on. Lily tells her that Jonas told her it's called dancing. Chief Elder suddenly appears through a hologram and checks on Jonas's training. When she asks what he and the Giver do during training, Jonas lies and leaves. The Chief Elder then tells Mother she should be worried. Jonas continues to learn from the Giver, who encourages him to be curious and to not accept information as the truth without questioning it. Finally, the Giver shows him cruelty. Jonas witnesses an elephant getting gunned down by its hunters for its ivory, and it deeply affects him. To stop Gabriel from crying, Jonas tells him that his stuffed animal is not a hippo, but an elephant, which is a real animal. Unbeknownst to him, Lily, who's sleeping in the same room as Gabriel, awakens and hears what he said. Caressing Gabriel's hand, Jonas accidentally shares a memory with Gabriel. Jonas confides to the Giver that he saw the wedding again the night before, and though it felt like a memory, the emotion for Fiona was strong. The Giver reveals that what he experienced was a dream. Guessing that Jonas stopped taking his injections, the Giver adds that what he felt is called love. Jonas asks Father if he loves him and develops a bond with Gabriel, eventually telling him that he loves him, before sharing more memories. The next day, Jonas finds a frightened Giver on the floor of his library, reacting to a memory. When the Giver pulls on Jonas's hand, mirroring something a soldier once did, the Giver accidentally shares with Jonas the memory of soldiers dying in war. Horrified, Jonas runs away while the Giver apologizes for giving it to him before he was ready. Jonas tells Fiona that he quit his training, but Fiona urges him to continue in fear that he might get sent to elsewhere. Attempting to expose Fiona to the truth, Jonas pulls out an apple and urges her to use it for her injection, telling her that the sensor will recognize the apple as her hand if she drops her blood on it. Fiona agrees to stop receiving the injections on the condition that Jonas continues his training. He then tells her to meet him the next day at the Triangle. Jonas returns to the Giver's residence and finds him watching a holographic memory of him and his daughter, Rosemary. The Giver tells Jonas that she succeeded him, at which point Jonas realizes that she was the failure that the Chief Elder was referring to. After 2 months of training, Rosemary demanded that the Giver transmit all memories so that she could help the community. The Giver agreed, although she wasn't ready, and transferred her the memory of a child taken from her mother. This devastated Rosemary, causing her to go to the Chief Elder and request to be released. When Jonas casually says that Rosemary now lives in elsewhere after her release, the Giver shows him the morning's release. Father and his colleague weighed twin babies like what Jonas and Fiona did, after which Father killed the baby who weighed less. As it turns out, release to elsewhere is a euphemism for murder by lethal injection. The Giver tells an appalled Jonas that only the receivers understand the concept of death and that there's no way for Father or the community to know what he is doing. He then adds that Fiona will soon be released, which Jonas refuses to believe. Believing that the deaths are the receiver's fault, Jonas wants the memories to be shared with the community. Later, Jonas meets Fiona at the Triangle, where she tells him that she began thinking of him and that she is confused about her emotions. When she blames her night shift and lack of injections for what she's feeling, Jonas kisses her, which Fiona doesn't understand. Unable to find Gabriel at home, Jonas learns that Gabriel failed his maturity test and has been returned to the nurturing center to be released to elsewhere. Jonas leaves late that night and punches Asher when he tries to stop him. Jonas tells the Giver that if memories are released to the community, he will cross the boundary of memory. The Giver takes out the map and reveals that he's been waiting for a receiver to do so, and that the only reason he didn't do it himself is because he needs to stay in order to help the community process their emotions. Meanwhile, Asher reports what happened to Mother, who then meets the Chief Elder to report the incident. Since they're not permitted to see into the Giver's residence, they can only communicate with him through audio. As the Giver instructs Jonas, the Chief Elder appears through a one-way hologram and informs the Giver that Jonas is missing and has attacked Asher. As Jonas hides, the Chief Elder asks where Jonas is while reviewing his past memories, seeing all his attempts to share what he learned. The Giver tells her that he doesn't know Jonas's whereabouts, but the Chief Elder recognizes his response as a lie. After the call, Jonas informs the Giver that Gabriel is to be released. Before Jonas leaves, the Giver tells him that he loves him and gives him empowering memories. The Chief Elder announces to the community that Jonas is missing and launches a search. They catch him arriving at the nurturing center, where Fiona, who's on night duty, leads him to Gabriel. The Chief Elder then sends authorities to stop Jonas, who is now branded as a rebel. Meanwhile, the elders and the others who continue to review Jonas's movements are confused as to what Jonas and Fiona are doing when the footage of them kissing appears. Jonas asks Fiona to leave with them, but she refuses to leave the babies and her family unit. Holding on to the promise that he'll come back for her, she kisses him and creates a diversion so Jonas and Gabriel can leave. Jonas steals one of the authorities' motorcycles and drives away with Gabriel. The authorities lose him when he passes by the Giver's residence and drives over the cliff. Mother gives Fiona her injection when she finds out that Fiona's injection level is extremely low. When Asher walks past her, Fiona reminds him that they swore to be friends forever. She is then detained with the Giver. The community attends Jonas's ceremony of loss, where Mother tells Lily that they should not speak of Jonas anymore. The chief elder informs Asher that Jonas has become dangerous and assigns him to prevent Jonas from going past the Triangle of Rocks. Asher finds Jonas and Gabriel in the desert, and Jonas pleads with Asher to trust him. Asher then decides to help them escape by capturing them with his drone and dropping them into a river. He then tells the chief elder that he has accomplished his mission. When Mother tells Fiona that her release has been arranged, Fiona tells her that although she doesn't know exactly what it is, she knows that something has been stolen from their lives. The giver, who's nearby, hears her claims. Fiona's release is attended by the elders, Mother, Father, and the giver. As Father is about to release Fiona, the giver brings up Rosemary and talks about love in an attempt to persuade the chief elder that they should free the community. The chief elder, however, remains unmoved, asserting that people are weak, selfish, and choose to do the wrong thing nearly all of the time. Jonas and Gabriel continue their agonizing journey, and when they enter a snowy area, Jonas falls unconscious because of the cold weather. When he wakes up, he sees a sled similar to the one he rode in his first memory. He and Gabriel sled downhill, finally crossing the boundary of memory. Because of this, the memories are released, and the community finally regains everything that's been deprived of them. Father stops seconds before the needle reaches Fiona as he now realizes what he's about to do. Jonas reaches the house he saw in his first memory and realizes that he has succeeded in his mission. And that's the end.